Hello, happy Tuesday. We are just coming back from a date, which is why
We're all dressed up.
you kind of always look the same, but I don't look homeless in this video.
Why does it look the same?
No, I mean like
Should
you
I
always
take
look.
that as a good thing?
Okay, anyway.
You always look the same.
We went on a date though to celebrate that Cade got out of the hospital in record time.
Yeah.
We are normally in after this treatment. I think the last time was 10 days. The time before that was 13 days. And so to be out in
6
5,
days.
it was Tuesday to Sunday.
Tuesday to
Oh, it's Monday.
Monday. 6 days.
6 days.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And really his white blood cell count was doing really well. So that 50% reduction that we had obviously shows in his cells. He had what they are calling pneumonia in one of his lungs this past week, and so they just kind of like hit it with some antibiotics, and he was running some fevers. But my parents so graciously came in, and Chad's mom spends part of the day there as well. So I think like for my heart this week, just realizing this was the last 5 day in our protocol and being like, whoa, Lord, like the Lord really made this easy because of the people that are on our side. And I just see him moving, I think, in our lives, like in the support and in the people around us. It's just all the time. It's like, wow, because he's moving on other people's hearts, we're able to make it. And so just so thankful for that. Cade did good this time in the hospital. I think he felt a lot more homesick than in previous times, and had some like sad moments where he just wanted to come home. And that's just great. It's great to have him be maturing and realize how much he loves his family and how much we love him. So I think for us, I think we felt really alive this trip. It was the first hospital trip that like I didn't feel, I wasn't like the walls are caving in.
Yeah.
And then I also didn't feel the same, like I always feel like a level of despair, and this time just amazing the capacity history gives you of like, okay, we're doing this. I'm so thankful for the people around us.
I was just going to say, I think that was the biggest thing for us. Again, there were, I think, 3 different people that like reached out to us specifically with like practical, like, you know, you open up your mailbox type thing and there's something in there for you, those types of things. Like, that's amazing. And you can see it as like just, oh, that's really nice, or people being friends, or you can see it like as God designed the church to be like the church and community, and like things aren't a coincidence necessarily, like that happened, and I was kind of low that day, or I didn't love spending the night in the hospital that day, but when this happened to me, or this person dropped this off, or shot me that text or whatever, that's God to me. You know, it is through a person, but it's kind of like God knows where I live type thing. So community is amazing, and we're so thankful for people just not only at our church, but our neighbors, our friends, family. So again, thank you so much. I feel like we were, I think it was last weekend, maybe, when did we go on that run? Anyways, I was on a run with Karis the other day with the kids, and like out of breath. It'd been like, I feel like God gave me a verse to like put to where I'm at right now. Because we process differently. No one is right or wrong, but we just have a lot of questions. We both do, and have been going to some really tough places with each other and with God. So again, just a challenge to do that, because we've come out, even tonight on our date, we had some really just tough conversations, and we come out on the other side. If we process with God, we process in love with each other, you know you're going to come out in a better place. You may not be on the same page still, but anyways, I was like, hey, I feel like I can finally put some words to where my heart is, and that's in Psalm 71, verse 14 says, "But as for me, I will hope continually, and I will praise you yet more and more." And I've learned that that's just what God's put in me right now, and if I had to be honest, it was a lot of my life I've been that way, but what He's taught me recently was, where is that hope? Like, when I'm hoping in that I won't spend the night in the hospital on Labor Day because that's lame, and I want a day off work or whatever, and it doesn't happen, like, I'm going to be disappointed. But if like my hope is seeing the goodness of God in the land of the living, or having sweet time with my son in the hospital, or whatever, when it becomes less and less circumstantial and becomes more and more like hoping in God and just fixing my eyes on Jesus. Does that sound familiar from the scriptures? It's like when I go back to what Jesus actually said, so in the Psalms when it says, I will hope continually, it's like, yeah, that is kind of a command, and it's like it's part of worshiping, and that's where it says, and I will praise you yet more and more. So again, there's nothing new really circumstantially with Cade or going on other than we're home. We're so thankful, but I want to hope continually, and I think that I guess I'd be as bold to say, like, in every step of life, in every stage of life, even the past 10 months, through trials, through chemo, through radiation, there's been opportunity to hope continually. And I can see how people get really jaded or disappointed or mad at God. And so I have grace for that, a lot of grace. But I guess I would challenge you, and I would challenge myself, of what am I actually hoping in, and who am I running to, has just been something that's been in my heart a lot, processing in my mind, and I'm not complete there, but I'm there.
Yeah.
Just trying to hope, trying to praise.
And I think it is interesting, just being like, we're obviously married, it's the same kid that we're talking about, like we're both in the same situation, but be able to process differently.
So different. Even
like with the Lord, and just like, I'm so encouraged by Chad's faith, but I'm also like, there's a process with me, and like my own time with God, what that looks like, my own faith for Cade, my own like prayers for Cade. And I just love that the Lord is so personal to meet us in the middle of it all. And he, like, I've said this probably a million times, but he's really not afraid of our process. Like, he's not afraid to walk with us. You know, like Psalm 23, where it's like, the Lord's my shepherd, I won't want. But he walks us through the valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil. And like your rod and your staff. And like, I've heard people talk about how like the rod is that like discipline, and the staff is the like bringing someone in, and the comfort. Maybe I got that twisted. But just the idea that just like he's faithful to walk each of us through those valleys. And I've been encouraged that like he's put us together so that we're strengthening one another, but we're not twins, you know, and to like give each other permission to be like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where you're at, and I'm going to trust God with you and you're going to trust God with me. And believing that like God wants us. I've been so encouraged by this end of this verse in Jude, where it says that it's his job to present us, that he's able to present us faultless without stumbling before him. And like, it's God's job to get our hearts where they need to be with Cade. And anyway, I feel like we both are just so thankful tonight to be together, to have our family here and with Cade. I think there's like this really wonderful gift in the middle of all of this of just like living in the very present, like being able to really be aware and awake and alive to like, Cade's doing great right now, and it's such a gift to have him downstairs, and our kids are doing great, and like fully embracing the present, because it's like that's where the gift of life is. And so yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, one practical, at least on our mind, or my mind specifically, is with him being home this week. It's always nice to feel like you're like putting gas in the tank and like getting him more and more healthy. It's trying to boost his immunities and things like that. And I know we have another intense treatment coming up in either next week or the week after. It depends on where his counts are. But that's just the cry in my heart, I guess, that his body, even though we feel called still to finish this protocol with 3 more treatments, I'm just looking at the path of believing that his body will respond and start to do what it's supposed to do. And so we're trying to strategically look at how can we do that. We're the ones that feed him. We're the ones that provide him whatever moving forward. So that's a little helpless. That's kind of a helpless feeling as well. And I know the burden's not all on us completely, but just if you're going to pray this week, that would be I would covet your prayers and just wisdom from God. We want to be wise with next steps for Cade and things like that. So I think yeah, as we were reading the other day, the Lord says, you know, you'll hear a voice behind you. This is the way, walk in it. We really want to hear that voice. So that's this week, and people are totally gonna think we dressed up just for the video. They're gonna see that on
We
the
might
screen.
keep doing this.
It's gonna be awesome.
Anyway, thanks so much for praying and fasting with us. We got a text message from our life group that was like, hey, we're all going to pray and fast with the free G's tomorrow. And,
Yeah.
you know, when we first started making these videos, it was like, hey, if we get 1 or 2 people, I'll feel so encouraged because
I
it's
remember
hard to
you saying
fast. But to have so many people reach out and just be like, we're with you is, like, first of all, super, super, super humbling. But then also like, man, I'm made to run with people. Like we are made to do this together. And so just know that we're really encouraged and really
very thankful
for all of you. And we'll see you next Tuesday.